This is the third and final video of this note set. In this video, we will explain what to do with the kana sheets in your packet. We will also explain how the diacritical markings affect the pronunciation of characters. I hope you followed directions and didn't waste your time filling out each of the rows as the characters were introduced. That would simply be busy work, and you will never be asked to do busy work in Japanese. Instead of just copying the characters, you can use these sheets as another method to help you memorize how to read and write the characters. Instead of just copying the characters, try this. Cover the completed columns on the left with paper and try writing the characters from memory. Notice that you still have the pronunciations on the right. And remember to pronounce the characters every time you write them. Ku, shi, su, ta, te. Now that you've completed a column, check your work. If you got them right, relax and come back later. Cover the completed characters and do it again. If you didn't get them right, like my ta, which has the final stroke going vertical instead of horizontal, correct your errors in pen. Now cover the completed characters and go again. Ku, shi, su, ta, te. After each column, check your work. Then complete another column until you have the characters completely memorized. Yay, they're all right! By doing this several times over the space of a day or two, you should be able to memorize how to both read and write the characters. 7 of the characters we learned today can have their sounds altered using the Dakuten and the Han Dakuten, which you heard about when you were introduced to Japan's writing systems. When these diacritical markings are added to characters, the consonant sound becomes harder. That can mean the sound moves further to the back of the throat, or more pressure is applied in the mouth somewhere. K becomes G, the sound moves to the back of the mouth. S becomes Z, applying more pressure to the teeth. T becomes D, applying more pressure to the tongue. And H becomes B, lip pressure. You will also notice 3 characters whose sounds don't follow the same pattern as the others in the gyo. That's because sh and ch both become j, and ts is closer to ts than t, so it becomes z. The hagyo also accepts the Han Dakuten, which makes h become p. If you remember these simple pronunciation changes, this is not a table of new characters. You simply need to remember the rules for the sound changes. In the first video, we learned 5 characters. All 5 of those characters can have their pronunciations altered by applying the Dakuten. Let's see what happens when we add those Dakuten. If we take ku and add the Dakuten, we get gu. If we take shi and add the Dakuten, we get ji. If we add the Dakuten to su, we get zu. If we add the Dakuten to ta, we get da. And finally, if we add the Dakuten to te, we will get de. We also learned 5 characters in the second video. 2 of the characters are from the hagyo. We can add both the Dakuten and the Han Dakuten to these characters. Let's see what happens when we add these diacritical markings. Let's start with ha. If we add the Dakuten, we end up with ba. Geez, that must mean that if we begin with ho and add the Dakuten, we should get bo. Now let's see what happens when the Han Dakuten is applied. Once again, we'll begin with ha, and by applying the Han Dakuten, that little circle, we get pa. And thus, if we begin with ho and add the Han Dakuten, we get po. Here is the full hiragana table. And here are the 10 characters we learned today. As we continue, you will quickly add the other 36 characters. It's very important that you learn and study the characters daily. If you fall behind even one class, you will get overwhelmed quickly. You may wonder why we aren't teaching the characters in the order of the gyo, or the columns. We are introducing you to the characters as we introduce vocabulary words that use those characters. This should make it easier to learn the characters and the vocabulary at the same time. Oh, but wait! We have also learned characters with diacritical markings. So here's the Dakuten and Han Dakuten table, and we have already learned these pronunciations. As mentioned previously, you will be introduced to new vocabulary words that use these characters to help you practice reading and writing.